Now let's talk about Nasdaq. How the NFP went on 3 February to 7 February, which was the NFP week of February, with the month of February. So yeah, man, I don't wanna lie, man. Nasdaq has been bullish, has been buying, and all these setups has been so good. If you miss them, you'll catch them next time. So the best thing to do when the market closes. So you can see there. Um, um, Nasdaq opened with the actually. Okay, let's start here on 12, 3 February, 12 a.m. So Nasdaq was down, 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 down. Like I couldn't enter because there is no system here at 12 a.m. 4 a.m. Nasdaq was still playing in the middle. You can see between the key levels, like resistance was 21,000 and support was 2,800. So still in the middle. So Nasdaq did buy from 8 a.m. and closed above 21,000. So this close, it made a high before it closed, made a high at 100, 100, and then come and close above 21,000. 21,000. So this close, all I wanted from this close was for Nasdaq to pull back to 21,000 for me to buy it. So Nasdaq did pull back here. You can see here strong rejection and continued buying. But after Nasdaq closing above here at 21,000, I was supposed to use this level as my area of interest. So I'll just change the color and say, okay, if Nasdaq to my other high, unfortunately Nasdaq never pulled back. Nasdaq just kept buying and buying from 4 p.m. Then I couldn't enter. I know that I'm supposed to enter because it's looking bullish, but I couldn't enter because it's not following my system. Now we broke above 21,200. You can see here breakout traders are supposed to enter, target to this 21,400, 200 points there, yeah, and there. But I'm not into breakout positions, so I'll wait for a pullback. So after this uh, close above, the Nasdaq opened, came back to test 21,200. There's always a retest. That's why it's always better to wait for that test, like clear pullback. So a retest and then close 21,400, making moving 200 points like that. So now I know there is a breakout, and all I want is a pullback to 21,200. That's why I had to change this level in a different color to say that okay, this is going to be my area of interest. So as long as Nasdaq pulls back here, because we had a breakout of 21,200. Now all I'm waiting for is the Nasdaq to pull back and reject this my 2100, 21,200. And once we reject it, and then we start being bullish, so I'm gonna buy. Simple as that. Nasdaq rejected this at 4 a.m. 8 a.m. opened and rejected again for the second time. 21. 200. Remember, we made a high up after the breakout. We made a high after in front of 21,400, and then we did a pullback with this counter trend move. I'm not gonna take it because it's not my system. My system is when Nasdaq came back to reject 21,200. First rejection, second rejection, inside bar. You can see at 8 a.m. So the position started going north 12 p.m. So you can see here two rejections. Then 12 p.m. started buying. So you can see here if I place the entry, then 1% risk. You can see it's good to place the stop loss below the support because already there's a rejection which is going to protect your position. So 1% risk there. which is going to be the stop loss, and the take profit going to be the high. Remember, we made a high after the breakout, and 2% was out just like that. Not only 2%, but this was a 1:2 risk to reward ratio. So 2% was out after entering 12 a.m. after getting the rejections necessary, after getting the breakout, after getting the pullback, and after getting the rejection. Then 1:2 risk to reward, and then let's see if we can make 1:3 risk to reward on Nasdaq. And yes, it was out 1:3 risk to reward on Nasdaq on it was for which is the Tuesday, because remember Nasdaq opened on Monday. Then with this buying, couldn't participate because it's not my system. Then pull back, then for 12 p.m. Nasdaq did buy, made a 3%. I mean, gave a 3% opportunity by risking 1%. Okay. Then after, if I want to still continue, we had this breakout of 21,400. Nasdaq did breakout, no, did break these highs, previous highs. So we made a new high, which shows that Nasdaq is in a clear uptrend. Okay, so what to do now is to wait for a pullback. So now 21,400 is going to be the area of my interest, because of the pullback, right? Because of the breakout. Let me remove this one because I'm done with it. Now Nasdaq is going to be, 21,400 is going to be my area of interest because of the breakout, this strong, huge breakout, which gave me a 1:3, then 1:3 risk to reward. So now all I'm waiting for is for Nasdaq to pull back here at 21,400 so that I can start buying it all the way up and up. So now Nasdaq did reject with the counter trend move, did pull back, and close. It started selling below the area of interest, my area of interest, 21,400, and then the selling started um, breaking at 200 moving average, which is the brown thick line. So after that, on 12 p.m. started on Wednesday, 5 February, started buying above the 200 moving average and close above the 21 moving average, which is the red line, and close above the 21 moving average, which was so important to wait for this close because of these two moving averages. And then after that, at 4 p.m. on 5 Wednesday, February, it was the time to go long on Nasdaq. So let's see what happened. Okay, put the entry there, stop loss right down below the 200 moving average, which is acting as our dynamic support at the moment in an uptrend. So TP was supposed to be this high, which is 1:2 risk to reward. Remember previously we made a 1:3 risk to reward. So 3,000 plus 2,000 is 5,000, but 1:2 risk to reward was so it was too small because of the setup was so good, man. Because of this strong rejection from the 200 moving average and the close above two moving averages was a confirmation that Nasdaq was going to buy, and it was going to buy for a long period of time. So, and then 2% was out, but it was also possible making 3% with the system, the breakout and pullback system. 3% was out just like that. So 3% was a safe place. So imagine 3% plus 3%, that's 6%. That's 6,000 of 100,000 trading account. So NFP was so good, so good. So after that, okay, now we hit our targets, and then now what do we do? Now Nasdaq is pulling back to 21,400. Now all I want, if I'm going to continue, the trend is that when I zoom out, Nasdaq is no longer trending. It's in a selling territory currently. You can see with this bearish engulfing. So okay, I was supposed to take this bearish engulfing, but it's not my system. So now I want Nasdaq to follow my system, which means okay, Nasdaq is pointing down, which means there's a high possibility that yes, it will drop and then come at break this 21 200 moving average and come at 21 200. But for me to go short, if we are seriously in a bearish trend, I will have to wait for a pullback to 21 400. After Nasdaq DTP at 200 and then pull back to 21 400, and then I will sell it back down to 21. That was notice that the safest way to play this game on Nasdaq or any other asset. But the most important thing was that this week Nasdaq opened here on 3 um, Monday, and they started buying. So the most important thing was that I was not supposed to participate on this buy. I was supposed to wait for the breakout, and after waiting for this breakout, I was not even supposed to enter a pullback like this one. No, I was supposed to wait for this breakout to go and hit TP, maybe somewhere here, and then after I was supposed to wait for the counter trend, which is the pullback coming back down here from the breakout. So now I was supposed to wait for a pullback on 21,000. Then after I enter here, because already I have a breakout, I have the high, and then I have the rejection. So I have the candlestick signal, which is bullish engulfing inside bar or pin bar rejection. So now I'll buy. So else, if it's not happening, I'll just have to let it fly. It did fly. Then we had another breakout at 21 200. So now I'm gonna say, okay, this 21 200, I'm gonna put an arrow, or I'm gonna change the support or resistance. So changing the resistance, which tends support, to a different color and say this is going to be my area of interest, which means anything that's gonna happen here on 21 200, I want a rejection, I want a pullback after this breakout. Nasdaq did go and make a high. So after making a high here, so started selling with the counter trend. I'm not gonna take this counter trend. I want it to come back from where it did break out. So the patience in waiting after the breakout, the patience in waiting after a counter trend, and the patience of entering and forgetting the position for like a day, 24 hours, and let it be, and then the patience in waiting for it to hit TP is very important. The patience, the game is played by people who can wait and forget. So also, yeah, it did happen the way I planned it. Breakout, pullback came. I did entered and put my stop loss. It was never hit. We hit TP, 3% was out. And then again, we break above 21 400, and then now I'm waiting for pullback. So it never played out the way I wanted the pullback, like it did here at 21 200. It was so perfect with the rejection, but here it never played out like the way it did here. The different scenario came where my new support was going to be 200 moving average and the 21 moving average, because Nasdaq stopped selling there and then started buying and continued the uptrend from the 200 moving average, and the entry was supposed to be uh, 4 p.m. after the this bullish candlestick, which started buying from 200 moving average and closed above the 21 moving average. So after 4 p.m., I mean after 12, after 4 p.m., yeah. So just buy Nasdaq and stop loss, take profit, and then 3% was out also. The same way it was out right here. 2% was also made here with the 1:2, 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So 1:4 was kind of like, of course it was out, but the pullback was supposed to come, because like Nasdaq can't just keep buying without pulling back, and yeah, so that was it. So let me change this, because now I don't know what is happening with the trend anymore. But all I want is the breakout, high, pullback, rejection, breakout high, pullback rejection, breakout high, pullback rejection.